Hello and welcome. Think we're good. Think we're live. So I have to do my pad. And what's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we're going to be just talking about Scream. Don't really have a plan, but we'll kind of just talk about whatever you guys want me to talk about and go from there. I can't stop thinking about it. My wife did do the honors and pleasure of going there with me. She didn't really want to all that much, but we had talked about it like afterwards, after the movie came out, and yeah. So I'm excited to chat kind of live, or just to kind of get my thoughts out there just in kind of real time, because I like this movie a lot, and at the same time, there's definitely issues with it. And I think it's kind of what I had hoped not to see in terms of online stuff, right? Because there definitely is a pretty big split of how people thought of the movie, thought of the, I guess the motive was a big thing for a lot of people, stuff like that. So, yeah, it is an issue. And, yeah, I think what's funny to me is that the motives actually, to me, were not the worst part at all, and I kind of understood it in the scheme of Scream. I have more problems with the pacing of the movie, or the lack of time with certain characters, or even Sam not being the greatest character on planet Earth. So those are some of the things that I was more kind of worried about, I guess, or I'm worried about now after the movie is out. But I really liked it, and I've only seen it once, and I saw some people say they've seen it like 3, 4, 5 times, which is sweet. But I'm not. I don't know. I kind of do want to go see it again, but I don't know. I don't know if that'll end up actually happening. I feel like I remember a lot about it, and there's definitely more videos still to come on the channel about it. I don't want to do outright spoilers, but I saw there's some people talking about certain characters in the movie, and or like a kind of an Easter egg, and I was like, well, people are saying it on Twitter, so maybe I should be able to say it, online as well on YouTube. So yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about doing that kind of stuff over the next couple of days, but I got some fun, different videos coming out as the days go on, and I plan to. I'm sad it's over. Like, when I was like shaking when I was sat in the theater right before it started, because there were, I don't know for other people, but for me, there were roughly, I don't even know. I don't know the number of trailers, but there were way too many of them, and the movie didn't start until, like, it was a 7 o'clock movie, but it started at like 7:25 or something like that. So from 7 o'clock, when the lights got dark on, I was kind of like this. I was like, I can't believe, or maybe it was even anxiety, where it's like we're just sitting here and like this is it. You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen a new Scream movie in theaters before. That's never happened. So it's like, this is, and it could be the only time. I think we will get a Scream 6, but what happened here with this movie, like, you can never truly replicate it again. Do you know what I mean? So to be there and to go through the entire thing and then just watch it, as soon as the movie starts and you just hear the phone ringing, you're like, oh my God, it's starting right away, and here we go. And then you're just in, and it's like, Jesus, that's I was excited. So what's up, everybody? How's it going? Yeah, I just, it was something special. I mean, I definitely have issues with it. It's not my favorite Scream. It's not even my top 2 favorite Screams. It's tied for 3rd place for me. But yeah, just the experience. I don't really think you can top that. I was having that anxiety too, and I've never had that, and this was my first new Scream. Yeah. No joke. I mean, I was trying to like hide it. I mean, I'm there with my wife. There's other people around. And I wasn't like having a panic attack or anything, but I was like this. I could feel like my hands shaking just a little bit, where it's like, I can't believe, because I watch a lot of movies. I do. And I think I've watched less as time has gone on, as the years have gone on. But, in terms of me being excited for a film, I feel like this film, I feel like going into Pirates 5, the fifth Pirates of the Caribbean movie, was probably the most amped up I've ever been for a movie, which is odd because I saw like Infinity War and Endgame in theaters as well. But Pirates is my favorite franchise ever, and I was just hoping for 5 so much to do something special. And I remember just and like when the movie's over, it's not like a sense of like depression, but when you leave, it's like a sense of wow, like I just watched. Does that make sense? Like it's like I just watched it, and you're never gonna watch it the same again. You're never gonna see it for the first time again. You don't know when 6 is coming. Now everybody can see it. All of this anticipation for the past, I've made videos for a year and a half. Some people made it for longer, right? Like all of that stuff is now over. There's a new chapter, but like that chapter ended. And it's like, so walking out of the theater, like I was filling my drink up again with lemonade so I could have the next day because lemonade doesn't go stale. And I was like, wow, like I can talk about it now, but like it almost feels like a piece of it is missing. Does that make sense? It's my least favorite. Hey, John. It's my least favorite, but it was okay for me. Yeah, I mean, I like all of them. I am not on the side of like 3 is some massively underappreciated like masterpiece that like people just don't understand. I think 3 is by a mile the worst one to me. There's definitely good. I love Sydney in it. The third act is very good. Like when she gets to the house on 3 is incredible. It's actually maybe one of the best ones, but I'm not one of the ones that say, oh, it's so like it's a hidden gem. Nobody truly appreciates how good the movie is, right? Like I just don't think it's as good as that. So it's definitely better than 3. This movie. 2 would then be next. 2, I liked 4 a lot. I really did. I liked 4 a lot. 2, I really like a lot as well. So I guess I would tie it with 2. It would go 1, 4, 2, 5 together, and then 3. Because I think they both have their strengths. I think this movie has a lot of strengths to it. I think 2 had a lot of strengths to it, and then it had some weaknesses. I was very disappointed. Is this a spoiler-free, non-spoiler stream? I just got here and don't want to put anything. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. I mean, there's not that many people here. We can talk about spoilers. It's fine. It's fine. People should not be going online on a live stream that says, let's chat about Scream 2022 2 days after the movie come out and expect that it's, gonna have no spoilers. So we can talk about, what do you want to talk about? Dewey, the ending. 5 needed a big chase. Yeah, people kept saying that, and like when the movie was coming out and the reviews like this past week were saying like one of the best parts of it were the kills. I was one of maybe the only people saying like I don't really care. Like the kills, obviously in a slasher or in a horror film, kills are big things and people go to see movies just to see creative kills to people. Like I understand that. To me, I've never been like that though. So I really don't care how people were killed. Sure, I want it to be a little inventive, a little bit differently, but I didn't really care. The chases, yeah, I get that. I mean, you think back to like one, I mean, all of them had some sort of long chase. And this didn't. Yeah, you're right. I mean, even the opening, I really liked it, but I thought it could go on for longer, and maybe they didn't want to like overstay their welcome in the beginning, but I felt the opening could have gone on longer with more of a cat and mouse, even though that's what they did. And then they just never gave them the opportunity, right? It was about building tension with Wes and Judy. I'm trying to think of every one. I mean, Dewey's is Dewey's. That's very, the Sydney phone call was great, but yeah, no main. They just moved so fast. That was the biggest issue of the movie. They just went so fast that they didn't really have time to do a lot of different things, which included chases, which included giving characters a little bit more, like Amber, Liv. Liv was great, but she wasn't in it. Chad, good, but wasn't in it. Wes was great, and then he died immediately. So I was like, Jesus Christ. Who do you like more as the killer, Amber or Richie? Richie was way better. Amber, I liked Amber. I thought it was a lot like Jill, but not as good as Jill when she was the killer. But I like Jill, and I know not everybody does. So I'm okay with Amber. I think Amber as a normal, so on Monday, I rank. I already the video's done. It's a pretty big video. I rank every character in this movie from worst to best, and Amber's kind of on the lower end, only because as Amber, the loving friend, she's like in it for like 2 scenes. You know, she's not in it. So, and then when she goes crazy, I think she's a lot better. But she's like not in it. Like this is, I don't know. What's the last time this has happened? Like Mickey was barely in 2. So I guess this is like 2, where Richie is in it the most. You really, I think, feel Richie could easily be it because you can place him so many places. But it's like, yeah, Amber's not in it, and she's a killer, which is a lot like Mickey, I guess, because Mickey wasn't in 2 a lot either. But people didn't like that. Second best movie. Fair. I'm not saying it to you. Like, I'm just telling people my opinions of it. You know, I thought I expressed as much as I could in the review how I felt. Some person told me that I'm lying to people. He said, there's no way you can love it because you're talking about all the weaknesses of it. And I was like, well, I can have problems with it and still love it. Like, I think I would know if I liked it or not. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Then I was very disappointed. I felt like the motives were horrible. It was basically the same as Scream 4. They wanted to make their own movie. They found each other online. Same as Scream 2. Yeah, the finding each other online. I mean, but they found each other on a Reddit, which is very normal. I don't want to like defend them. You can think whatever you want, but I don't hate it. I don't hate the motive. I don't hate how they came together, but it definitely could have been better. Yeah, it definitely could have been better. And they didn't need to throw in subtle attacks at real fans. I wish Kyle and Dylan characters got way more screen time. Kyle Gallner did great as Vince in the one scene he talked in. So, you know, that was lame. And Wes was good. Wes was really cool. And, you know, when he was like hugging Sam and stuff, and when Mindy was explaining, you know, the rules and whatnot, I was like, yeah, I'm in. Didn't Wes say like Dewey could be the killer? I was like, yeah, I like this. And actually, when he said that Dewey could be the killer, I was like, ooh, that's something a killer would say to get, you know, people off their back. So maybe it could be Wes. And they just immediately, you know, Kirby is alive. I saw that. I didn't want to say it earlier. So I saw that. I want to make a video on it, but I also don't want people to get mad at me and say, you spoiled it. And I'll say, well, I mean, is it really a spoiler though? So the Dewey kill was brutal. Just wish it was, just wish it was a better character that took out one of the OG 3s. Yeah, I mean, I liked Amber rubbing it in at the end. That was like mean. I liked that I accept, well, here's what I don't accept. I don't accept that because clearly they just didn't want him to be with the other 3 when he died, right? They want him to be alone, which kind of like raised the stakes. I don't understand why you couldn't have had him be a little bit smarter, because like he knows to go for the head, and like so he clearly waited for the elevator and then said like, well, I have to do this, right? They could have, and I'm probably gonna do a video on this when it's not as spoiler like. I don't know why when he shot multiple times and Amber fell, and then they got up and went to the thing, I don't know why he couldn't have taken a couple steps and then said, wait, I have to do this, aim the gun, and then maybe even Richie could have said something like, no, let's just get out, like something yelling at him to distract him for a second, because Amber was just faking it, you know what I mean? So all he needed was a distraction. I'm fine with the phone ringing and that being distracting enough for Dewey. I buy that because the phone rang very loud. It would be like buzzing. That would get you off. So and then, you know, he gets stabbed, and from there it's game over. She had 2 knives. So I buy that. I don't think you could have done it better. But clearly they wanted the 3 of them out of it, you know what I mean, to not be there with Dewey, which I don't really get. They easily, maybe it was because Richie, you didn't want to give away his reaction, even though upon thinking about it, right, he like looked back at Amber, and it's like, oh Jesus, you shouldn't have done that, because that was a giveaway. So yeah, my thoughts on Kirby is sweet. I think it's possible you could bring her back, but it would be a long shot. But I am glad that she's alive. Very glad, and I'll make a video on it. Did anyone catch the cannon-breaking cameo by Roman in Dawson Creek? No, I didn't. I watched it twice, and the second time watching made me appreciate it more, partly because I didn't catch a lot of the things since I was kind of anxious. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you notice things more the second time. Missed opportunity for Chad and Mindy to be the killers. Missed opportunity for Wes to have a larger role. Whole thing was rushed. No character development. Yeah. I didn't really need Chad and Mindy to be the killer, though. I don't think that needed to happen. But definitely for Wes to have a... I think Wes... I truly think... And I don't know how, like, the creative process went, but I heavily assume they came up with the name to this character, and they did it solely to kill him off to get a For Wes party thing, so they could have, like, the banner and say, like, For Wes. Like, I think they did it only for that. And then the fact that it was Dylan Minnette, and then you tie him to Judy, it's like you're giving him such important things in the background to fans, but he is such an unimportant character. And I feel like he was always an unimportant character just to get us to the honoring Wes Craven thing. And, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I could have done without that in that way. The opening scene was Chef's Kiss. Oh, I mean, when he was talking normally, and he was talking, I'm part of the group, and and then when he switches over, do you like scary movies? It's like, oh my God, and would you like to play a game? And it's like, Jesus Christ, he was so good. I love the phone call right before what he said. He says like bonus question. Was I able to come into the house before you reset the alarm? Something about, and that's not word for word, but whatever that line was, I was like, oh my God, that's so good. I liked every single phone call. The one in the hospital was really good too. It was like pick, and he's like, you can't even tell me to not kill Tara. Like, just say kill Richie, and then that's when he flips the chair and Tara falls. It's like, he's so good. The Sydney one is probably the weakest phone call from Roger's side, because it was mainly Sydney just dominating the phone call and saying, I'm bored, and then shooting. I mean, that was so good. Well, let me ask you guys. So I have a group here, obviously. So I want to go through something, and you guys tell me if I'm right or wrong, because me and my wife were trying to, and I may make it a video, but it's spoiler-like, right? So I'm kind of afraid to make it right away. So everybody listen up here, just to hear me out. So I want to try to figure out who did each thing. And I think all of them are pretty easy except for Wes and Judy. So I'm just going to I'll go really fast. I won't bore you. So I think the opening attack was Amber. Although the weird thing is, like, I'm almost half and half that it could have been Richie on the phone. It didn't technically have to be Amber on the phone and in person. But I'm going to assume it was both Amber on the phone and attacking Tara in the beginning. So I would say that. Person who attacked Sam was Richie, okay? Now, I think, based just off of killing styles, that Amber killed Judy, but Richie killed Wes. And that's because Amber is very stab-heavy, and Richie is neck-heavy. Oh, Richie killed Vince. I would assume that, too. So Vince and Wes both were stabbed through the throat, so that's why I would assume it'd be Richie. But he didn't do much. Like, it was Amber doing most of the work. Amber attacked Chad. Richie attacked Mindy. And is that all of them? Amber killed Dewey. Is that all? So I guess the thing that I'm really confused on is, because I was, like, thinking back to it and all that stuff, I think there's enough context clues to put everybody in their place. But realistically, it could have been either or both or one that killed Judy and Wes, because Amber and Richie were both left at Mindy and Chad's house. That was the last scene we saw of them. And then the next time we see Richie, it's at the hospital to check on Tara and Amber's Ghostface. But Richie could have killed the cop at the hospital too. Like, it didn't have to be Amber. No, you know what? And he was slit in the throat, but I think he was stabbed a couple times, so maybe that was Amber. So that's my... Let me know. Okay, nobody has an answer. Wes had to be Richie. Amber wouldn't have been strong enough to subdue Wes like that. So another thing that somebody pointed out to me is that every time there's two hands, it was always Amber. Amber needed the help of her, which actually is, I like that. I think it's clever. Amber needed the help of her other hand to, so if you watch, against Tara, she needed both hands. Against Judy, she stabs her, and then she goes to stab, and Judy catches the hand, and then Amber has to hit her hand like this to make it go down. For Dewey, same thing. She's trying to stab Dewey, and then she grabs with her other hand to give her more weight. And doesn't she do? I think she does it like one other time in the movie. So that's definitely Amber. Anytime you need the help of two. But the thing is, the person who stabs Wes also used both hands. But yeah, you could argue Wes is bigger, and I just feel like that had to have been Richie that killed Wes. Size doesn't matter, like which is stupid because the size of the killer that attacked Dewey was big, was Richie's size. That's the attack of the killer, or the size of the killer that attacked Wes was also much bigger than Wes. If you watch it, much bigger. But also the person who attacked Judy was also roughly the same height. But I just think Amber stabs a lot and she grabs with both hands, so she's got more power to it. That's her thing. I also think she likes to flip the knife. Remember in the beginning with Tara, how like she's holding the knife and then she flips it so that it's aiming down? Amber, I think, does that 2 different times in the movie. What's up? I know I'm skipping around. I'm really sorry. I'm just trying to... It would have been nice to see a psycho shower scene. Was you gutted Stu didn't return? I didn't mind it. I was very happy when Billy... The de-aging thing on Billy looked horrible, but Billy himself being back was like awesome. Like I was so happy to see Billy back. So nobody applauded in my theater at any point. So I didn't clap. But I assume if I would have had a trigger happy clapping community or clapping, group, that people would have clapped. That's my Liv was a worse version of Olivia. Wes a worse version of Robbie Randy. The only great Jack Quaid was great. I thought Liv was solid. Liv, right, the actress who plays her, right, Sonia, I think is her name. That was her first acting job. I think you couldn't exactly tell, but you could tell she's not like the strongest pure actor. But they also gave her like what? The most dialogue she said was to Mindy at the end, and then when she was saying like I'm not the killer, like I just found Chad's body. That was the most talking she did in the whole movie. So I thought she was fine. They didn't give her anything to do, but they kept her around long enough where you thought it could have been her. That was an issue with this movie. See, an issue I have, like legit, not the fact, not other smaller things. A big issue I had with this movie from a whodunit perspective is it was so fast and it hid. Chad, Mindy, Amber, Liv were gone for 70% of the movie, that you're with the OG, and then you're with Sam, Richie, Tara. Those are your... So, like, you have to assume that Richie is probably a killer because he's there so much. You're not going to suspect the OGs. Maybe Sam, maybe Tara, but not really. And so then you're left with the rest of them. And then it's like Chad and Mindy, like, would they really make them the killers? No. And so it's really Amber or Liv. And that's why you had, because Wes could have been a target, or could have been a suspect. Sorry, he could have been a suspect, but you killed him immediately. You know what I mean? Vince could have been a weird red herring silent character that kind of appears once and then maybe appears at the end or something, but you killed him immediately. You know what I mean? So there's no time to... And I don't actually know what killing Vince accomplishes at all, personally, but they did it anyway. I liked him, though. Yeah, I think they did enough to make Tara a potential suspect. Like, I do. I actually think if you win in blind, and then when Richie tells Sam, like, it could be Tara, and then when Sam's about to cut her binds off, and then she's like, I don't know. I think, it wouldn't make sense from like she's the one doing it, but like she's the one orchestrating it. She could have been. So I think they did okay. Richie would have been a better choice to kill Dewey. Yeah, I get it. I said it earlier in the live stream. I think the way Dewey died was about as good as you could have done it because of because I was so afraid he would just lose a fist fight. You know what I mean? Or something very dumb like that. So I think the fact of how the stabbing happened and how he was caught off guard, that makes a lot of, that makes a lot of sense. I think because they could have done it even when he raised the gun to shoot, Amber could have like jumped at him. He could have gotten scared and missed, and Amber could have like beaten him up a little bit and then stabbed him, and he could have lost that way. I think that would have been so much dumber, like very stupid, versus he was ready to end it, and the phone rang, and that was all they needed. Like I said, though, I would have preferred he just have done it right away, and Amber still killed him, even though the three of them were still in the hallway. I think the three of them could have still been in the hallway, and it would have been fine. Like, I really don't think there would have been anything wrong with Sam, Tara, and Richie seeing that. Maybe they just didn't want to give Richie's reaction away, right? Because maybe he would be thinking, oh, this is good. This is what we wanted, was to kill him. You know what I mean? Let me ask you guys a quick ask outside of the Scream conversation. Leave a quick like on this video, because the likes help the video spread a little bit faster. So if you haven't left a like yet, just click it really fast for me if you don't mind. Also, why wouldn't you immediately tell Ghostface to save your own sister and sacrifice your boyfriend of only 6 months? Exactly. I think part of that was also to make Sam a little questionable. And I get it also from the perspective of you don't want anybody to die, so you're not going to tell Ghostface to do one thing or the other. I get it, but you're right. You're right. But I liked Ghostface calling that out. He's like, you won't even save your own sister? It's like, yeah, Tara was a good character. Tara is, I'll spoil it, Tara is my favorite character of the entire movie, of any character. Alex, that's me. My one point of contention, Sidney should have had more of a reaction to Dewey's death. Yeah. I was a little, I liked what Gail did. I liked Gail selling it. Sidney, I would have liked to see a little bit more. Sidney, really, you could feel it, even though they didn't give her enough time for this either. When Randy died, you could feel Sidney felt it. Sidney felt Randy's death way more than she felt Dewey's death here. And again, my issue with the movies, I know people don't like the show. I do like the show. I don't think it's as good as the movies, but the thing I do like about the show is you have time to breathe. You know what I mean? Whereas in the show or the movie, you have to move fast. I mean, this movie moved very fast, but in general, you have to move fast in movies. So you maybe don't give the time for these characters to react, and she could have used a little reaction there. She wasn't even all that angry either. Like, I would have bought it if she was just furious and she was like, I'm killing this mother, blanker. But she wasn't even like that. She was kind of calm and collected, but like, we're going to kill them. We're going to kill him. And yeah. So let me kind of read a couple. I'm sorry if I'm skipping around. I try to read all the questions or all the I was skeptical about the Billy Loomis, but it worked for me. I was too. The motives also make sense. People are just rather picky. Yeah, I think the motives aren't amazing, and they're not bad. I think they fit kind of averagely where the motives of Scream killers lie. Do you think Sidney's interaction with Ghostface could have been better, or was it good enough? I think it was good enough. I think the phone call could have been a little bit longer, but it was also kind of for like more comedic or character moment for Sidney, right? Where it's like, I'm just done. Like, I'm not going to do these phone calls anymore. So Amber was more stab happy, so I think she killed Judy. Yeah, I do too. I think Richie killed Wes. So let me ask this. Who do you guys think called Judy? And also, why did he call her Sheriff Judy? Like, you know how he like emphasized her first name? Why did he do that? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Because that's another thing. Like, calls were harder to figure out. Like, I think kills, yeah, we're on the same page. Amber probably did kill Judy, and Richie probably killed Wes. It also begs the question, why were they both there? Unless, two people, so like a double job, I guess maybe that makes sense. But the calls, like I said, the call in the beginning, I don't know, like, who seemed to know more about Stab and more about trivia? Like, could that have been Richie on the phone in the beginning? I think it was Amber, but I feel like there's, like, if they said out loud, like the writers, and they're like, no, that was Richie, like we planned to be Richie, I'd buy it, but I feel like it was Amber. The call to Judy, though, could have been either of them. It could have been either of them. Maybe Amber? I don't know. Because then, like, how much did Richie called Sam, and that was it, right? That's the only time he would have called anybody. Oh, he called Sidney. I don't know. And Richie killed Vince, yeah. Definitely Richie. Hey, he had to have. Hospital's dessert again. Yeah, I was not a fan of that. Wes isn't much in the buff mode. Amber could have been the one to take him. Boy was reaching for the taser. I know, but Amber is more trigger happy with a knife, so stabbing happy, right? Amber likes to stab, stab, stab. Richie, if Richie killed Vince, see, if Richie only killed Vince, then the only thing we know from Richie is he probably likes to do like a quick one shot in the throat, right? Even I would argue for Richie attacking Sam, yes, he was like slicing, like he was, kind of going wild, but he wasn't like lunging at her. You know what I mean? He wasn't like going all in like I think Amber would do more. So yeah, it could have been Amber that killed Wes, but I just feel because he went for the throat shot and it was just one shot and that was it, I think it had to have been Richie because Richie was a little bit more contained in how he did stuff. Yeah, it had to have been. I guess they technically left other suspects open for the bar thing, though, because they kicked them all out. Like, they kicked Vince out, and then they kicked everybody else out. So, if he was going pee 5 minutes after, it would have been enough time for Chad, Liv. They were all there, right? Chad, Liv, Wes. Was Mindy there? Well, like, all of them to split up, and then one of them to stay. So, I'm not saying that happened, but I think they tried to leave that possibility open, even though they really, even it was Richie. It was definitely, everybody else couldn't have done it, but I think they tried to leave it open. Tara had a private floor. I at least respected that they said that out loud. I don't think that's a good enough reason because I don't really think there's such a thing as a private floor in a hospital, but I will respect that they said it out loud. They definitely, they knew that that's a trope. It's a stupid thing that people don't like. So I'll give them my respect that they acknowledged it, but they still did it. Does that make sense? The hospital floor was empty because it was private, only had cops. Yeah, so it was definitely a little bit more believable. How you going, Hunter? Size doesn't matter. That's what she said. Who said that? Amber? I believe that. They did. I do think as fans of the films, they were at least aware enough where you could make the argument anytime there was an overpowering thing, it was Richie, which would make sense based off of his body type. And then anytime that it wasn't being overpowered, it was caught off. Judy was caught off guard. Dewey was caught off guard, right? They didn't lose because they're bad fighters or because Amber, for a 110-pound, 5'5" person, is like, able to like outmuscle them. They lost because they were tricked. You know what I mean? So I believe those. And I think they did a really good, that's what I'm saying. Like this movie did have some smart, because you can pick at those things in past movies. I mean, what's the one thing people always say for Randy? Jamie Kennedy even says it. Why does he, like when he's walking and on the street and stuff and putting his back to that's a stupid move. Somebody and something like that Randy shouldn't have done. So I would say, while I'm upset that Dewey, again, didn't shoot immediately, I would kind of equate that to the smartness of Randy, where it's like both of those were like dumbish moves, but I would say they did it as well as they could have. You know what I mean? Again, like Dewey it could have been different, but the general idea that he was just caught off guard, and then once you're stabbed once, I mean, you're definitely a lot weaker, and then she stabs him in the back, and it's game over. You know what I mean? So like they did that about as good as they could have done. Platform shoes are in. I think Amber did majority of the kills. Yeah, she did. She also failed, though, at kills because she didn't kill Chad. Richie didn't kill Mindy. So I was pleasantly surprised how good Jenna Ortega's acting was. Absolutely. I think I said it earlier in the live stream. I think she's the best character. And I think she's the best character. I don't know if she was the best acted. I think Dewey was really good. Richie was really good throughout it. So Jenna Ortega was probably like top 3 or 4. Dylan Minnette did really good, but he wasn't in it at all, so hard to say. Yeah, did Mindy survive? Yeah, Mindy survived. I liked that. So Mindy gives the thumbs up, and you think, oh, she's so self-aware of stab 1 that she does the thumbs up like Dewey did, but she gives the thumbs up to Chad, which I thought that was very cool. I thought that was a really cool move. Well, I will say, for the size of Woodsboro, small town, small hospital, maybe you could buy it a little bit more, right? We're not talking about like a big city with a hospital, right? Yeah. When Dewey says never trust the love interest. Yeah, Dewey nailed it. I like that. I love that Dewey got it in the first shot. Yeah, well, see, so Joseph said, so if Dewey was like, F this after the trailer scene, wouldn't that have messed up the killer's plans, LOL? So a thing that you have to suspend your disbelief in these movies is a lot of the things that happen throughout the movies always go the killer's way, right? Because if Randy, even going back to 2, if Randy didn't do that, he wouldn't have died. So then how would he have been a part of the rest of the movie? Did the killers plan that, or did they rely entirely on killing him right then and there? But they couldn't have, because she admitted she wasn't going to kill him. So, you know what I mean? So in every movie, there is that issue where if they don't do exactly what they're supposed to do, does the killer's plan get ruined? So for the Dewey thing, Richie says at the end that they needed, or maybe it was Amber, but one of them said that they needed to get the originals back. I don't think they needed to, because their plan was to make Sam the villain because of the Billy Loomis thing, but I don't think they needed. I mean, they said that, but I would assume that if Dewey didn't go along with the plan, or if Dewey didn't die, because if Dewey just went out the elevator and left Amber there and didn't shoot her in the head, just said like, well, I'll deal with it later, let me just get out alive. Like, how does that influence the plan going forward, right? How do you kill him immediately? Like, what do you do? So, it has to go a certain way, and it just always happens to go the killer's way for the entire movie until the ending. But that's every I think, no, I don't even watch a lot of horror movies, but I assume in every horror movie, things always are happening where the killers are winning throughout, and then at the end, their plan is foiled. That's kind of just how it has to go. Mindy will have a big role in the next movie. I think so. I think Chad could be a very quick kill. I don't think Chad will be around for that long, personally, because I think you have 4 survivors. You're going to have to take out at least one. Then you could do something fun with Sam and Tara. You could swap them, stuff like that. So Liv would have been in the middle. Should have been the middle kill instead of Wes. They should have kept Wes longer to have red herring killer. Yeah, I agree. But they did that with Liv. Liv, I do think, made a believable enough case. Because granted, like, they kept her away. You know what I mean? Like, when they went to the hospital, even in the beginning, she said she couldn't go. You know what I mean? She said she had to stay and she'll meet them later. So the hospital attack on Sam, it was very clearly, in my opinion, Richie, especially when he says he was watching Netflix and he's in the next room. So it's like, how easy would that have been? But I guess it could have been Liv. You know what I mean? Because Liv wasn't accounted for. Is Mindy part of the LGBT? Yeah, because she hooks up with another girl in the movie. I think that's fine. I don't think there was any, like pressure to make anybody, like pushing something on any. Everybody was who they are. It wasn't a lecturing class of this person has to be this way or this person had to be that way. They were who they were. You know what I mean? There was a little bit of background stuff with Tara. There's the background stuff with Amber. Whatevs. Vince felt very Principal Hambley-ish. Yeah. Oh, kill for no reason. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even say that, because in 1, they killed the principal so that they could get everybody out of the house. So they actually had a practical reason. They killed him. They strung him up, right? He was on like the football field or something, but he was dead. And then that's why they left the party, was to go see that. Whereas in this one, Vince had, other than his connection to Stu, had no reason, to do anything. Amber didn't deserve the honor to kill Dewey. What did he say? I heard him say it's an honor. Did he say Deputy Dewey? Deputy Dewey, it's an honor? Or did he just say I thought I heard Dewey. Dewey, it's an honor. What did he say? If you guys can remember. I don't think the original plan was to get the 3. Oh, yeah, I think it just happened, and then he kind of worked it into his monologue. I don't think the plan, which I actually kind of respect that the plan did not rest on that needing to happen, that it could have just happened. It happened naturally, which is cool. Because I don't think they were planning on killing Dewey. I don't think that was the plan. Dewey gave himself, into it. If Dewey said no, then. That was my problem too. A lot of new characters didn't get nearly enough screen time. Yeah, exactly. To me, You can and I'm not saying you can't, and I'm not like mocking people. Oh, you can complain, you can't complain about this. You can complain about the motive. You can complain about, was Amber the right person to kill Dewey? You can complain about this or that. And again, I'm not like mocking people. Like those are valid complaints. I think the biggest movie problem with this film is it was way too fast. They could have done 10 more minutes in the middle act. Could have easily been longer. And I don't think it would have hurt the movie to make it 10 minutes long. 10, 15. Because you think about it, 10 minutes, that's like 5 scenes. That's not even that many scenes, but it's enough. You know what I mean? So I think movie mistake-wise, it was too short and it was way too fast. They needed to add a little bit. They needed to give... You could have still killed Wes when you did it, but you could have given it a little bit time before that to let it breathe a little bit. You could have built up specifically Amber and Liv. Like those two could have been built up a little bit more so that you're still kind of questioning it, at the end. So those would be the big mistakes, like huge mistakes that I would say that's where they messed up on. Writing, they messed up there because they just didn't include it. And then like direction, what they wanted to do. And I think that's fair. I don't think that, I'm not saying, I hated the movie or, anything like that. I think that's just a very valid criticism of the, of the film. It was so badass when she shot Liv. I liked what she shot her and then she looked to Sam and said, "Welcome to the third act," right? I liked that. That was very breaking the fourth wall, but I liked that a lot. In fact, one of my favorite lines. I thought Vince could have had more screen time. Same. I liked him. He was cool. He was like, "Come out with me. I'll show you a good time, or get away from these young." I don't even remember what he said, but he was cool. He was good. He just didn't do anything. They did nothing with him, which I guess you could have expected based off of the promotion, right? But yeah, Amber just said it's an on. Oh wait, I gotta go back up. Sorry. Oh God. I gotta like. Oh my dear God, how many comments did I miss? I don't know. People really thought Dewey would be Ghostface. Nah, people that thought stuff like that. You don't have to be a bodybuilder to kill somebody, but it's realistic. It's unrealistic to think a 5'3" person can manhandle somebody. Yeah, but again, I don't think they did that. There was no. Give me an example of this movie where that happened. I don't think anytime Amber okay, one thing I will give you is Amber was hit in the head or side with that heavy bust thing that Chad took outside. So Chad, big muscles, whacks her in the head, but I couldn't tell. My wife said she got hit in the side, like side of her body. I thought she got hit in the head. Either way, that would probably really hurt. So I don't know. You guys can let me know. To me, that was unrealistic. But also, she got the leg up on him, right? I believe she sliced his leg to make him pretty weak. So anytime Amber did anything, she was pretty good about it. Like there was reason to believe, you know what I mean? So that's what I would say. I don't, it is what it is. Vince's death was cut too short. Yeah, I thought that he was going to get stabbed, fall on the ground, and then like be stabbed multiple times. But the scene in the trailer where he falls to the ground, he dies right then and there. It's like, oh my God. Even Dewey had a hard time fighting Amber off. Yeah. He also is a cripple. He did say that. He has permanent. So what I will say, I feel like they almost were setting it up immediately, where he says he walks with a limp. He has permanent nerve damage. He's been stabbed 9 times. And if you think about their fight, Amber jumps through like a window or something, does the thing with Dewey in the trailer where Dewey grabs his arm or her arm. Then he pushes off and hits her into the opposing wall and flips her. And then she like swipes his legs and he falls. And then she gets the knife and goes on top of him. And then she uses both hands to really push down. And he like hits her so that she stabs the ground next to him. I feel like all of that is semi-believable. I do. Especially if you do have nerve damage and you can't fight as well. Yeah, I feel like that because the fight wasn't that long. You know what I mean? It wasn't the longest thing in the world. But I don't know. It's just my opinion. Only white people died in this movie. Why? Yeah, it was kind of odd that every only white people. Yeah, I guess. Well, that is true. There's really nothing I can say. I don't want to say too much to get myself in trouble. That's the way Hollywood is nowadays. You could say that. She literally weighs 103 pounds. That's very specific. I wasn't a fan of the I'm Billy's Daughter plot, but I like it for a new trilogy, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I would have preferred something else, but I'm almost kind of glad just because now for like if you don't bring Sydney and Gale back in 6, at least you still have the Billy Loomis thing. You know what I mean? I feel like it actually was kind of to help fans like accept it, which is almost like fan service, which media would tell you, oh, that's so scary, you shouldn't do that. I actually don't mind that. I think that was fine. I think you kind of had to do something like that, you know what I mean? To make it so that they cared. Because if you're not going to connect it to Sydney, then what are you going to do? Well, you connect somebody from the original to Sam, and then Sam is that beacon going instead of Sydney. You know what I mean? And the only way to make Sam, I would say this. I think Tara is the better sister. I think Tara is the better character. But if you want somebody to care about Sam as much as Sydney, which I think is impossible, but that's obviously the goal. You know, you could do it like Jill, which just wasn't going to work. You know what I mean? People just aren't going to care about Jill as much as Sydney, even though Jill was related to Sydney. It still wasn't enough. So I think what you had to do was to make it so impactful that, like, well, Sam is literally a descendant of one of the most in characters besides Sydney and also tied to Sydney in Scream history, which is Billy. You know what I mean? So I feel like they had to do something to make her important. Otherwise, people weren't going to go for it, which I feel like is valid. I feel like that is true. He says, yes, today. Yes, today. So I don't really get that. Yes, today. Why would you say something like that? Yeah, you're right. Yes, today, it's an honor. The it's an honor line is great. Yes, today. Man, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about him saying. I like how when she is stabbing him, there's a lot of like they let it go for a while. Like he's in pain, and then she does the back, and then she rips it up and stuff, and she yes today, and there's a big break, and then she says it's an honor, and then he looks at the phone, and then she takes it out and she kicks him like that. And also, this could just be just a me thing. The shot after she kicks him down. And then you see his eyes, because they have to show him dead, right? Then they show his eyes, and his eyes are open, but he's dead. And then it's the shot kind of from the elevator looking at them, and you see Ghostface with, like, the 2 knives. I really like that, like, just how it looked. I was like, that looks really cool. Looks like he can be part of a fighting game or something. First of all, Amber kills fast. Richie took a few seconds before stabbing people. Wes, Judy, Dewey, Vince, and Liv were all fast kills, meaning Amber killed them. And, well, Liv was different. Wait. Wes, Judy, Dewey, Vince, and Liv were all fast kills, meaning I don't think so. I don't think that's right. I think So you're saying Richie didn't do anything? Nah, I think Amber stabs, and Vince does the throat stuff. So I think Vince and Wes were Richie. Yes, today it's not her. I love the way Amber reveals she's the killer, just like taking off the mask. That was kind of cool. Well, the killer are always superhuman. I believe this way more than I think we're kind of getting a little caught up. If we're being fair with each other, I think we're getting a little caught up when I hope we also had a problem then with Charlie throwing around Olivia like she was a freaking rag doll, in 4. I hope we didn't have a problem with that. I'm not saying, I just want consistency. I'm not saying you guys or people that are upset about this aren't being consistent, but again, like if you're going to go after this movie, you got to go after the past ones. You just have to. And I think people are. I don't think people liked that Jill and Charlie, these 5'4", 100-pound soaking wet people, could throw around Olivia like she's a rag doll and I don't even remember what did Jill even do. what Jill didn't do all that much in that movie, right? In terms of being the killer. So yeah. I also love how Ghostface was more violent when they killed people, way more realistic to some extent. Yeah. Even Sam stabbing Richie, I like that he kept talking. I also thought that line was very chilling when he said, "What about my ending?" And she says, "Here it comes," as she slits his throat. It's like, Jesus Christ. That's extreme, you psychopath. Amber just said, I'm pretty sure, I think yes today makes it. Yes today doesn't exactly sound right, but it does sound like she says yes today. Does she say yes finally? I'll have to watch it again. I love the gore level and kills. I wanted to see this style for Scream 4. Scream 4 kills were pretty lame. I like the Olivia kill. But yeah, I agree they should have kept the shot of Ghostface's shadow. I hope it comes on Blu-ray soonish. Yeah, probably in 3 months. It was due to Dewey's distraction. Yeah, I buy it. If Dewey had just gone for the head like he's been told so many times, but it's been a while, so he probably forgot. So yeah, I said that earlier in the live stream. My wife said that. She said he's been told before to go for the head, so why would he forget? Again, I think that's an easy. You still could have had the scene play out the way they want it to play out, but you could have just done it again where he shoots her 3 times, she hits the glass and falls, and then instead of him going to Sam, Tara, and Richie to have them leave, he could have motioned for them and then said, "Wait, I have to go for the head." And then Richie could have been like, "Dude, could have put that seed of doubt in him. Dude, let's just go. Let's get out of here." And then Dewey could have raised the gun immediately. And Amber, and then again, they could have screamed or something, or I don't even know. You could have even had him raise the gun while not looking. He could have been looking at the 3 of them. And then Sam could have said, "Dewey, look out," or something like that. And then when he looks back, she's going to stab him. Something like that. I think the thing is they wanted the phone to ring and it be Gail. That was probably, if there were sketches or, a loose script idea, the loose idea was probably, have Gail, Gail is the call to Dewey. That's that. So that's what I would imagine. I imagine they needed that to happen no matter what. And then they kind of made everything else, do that. Oh my God, there's so many. Oh my God, people are very into Amber. How many comments did you guys write when I was gone? I found this one. "Hey Alex, I know you hate The Last Jedi, but I'm new to your channel. Do you also hate The Last of Us Part 2? I loved the gameplay, but I didn't love the choices of the story. But I don't hate the game like a lot of people do." Are you gonna do a Who Killed Who in Scream 5? Yes. So I want to literally do a video, Who Killed Who, but kind of like Zach Cherry's done that in the past. I want to do that, but I'm very afraid that when I make that video, people will say, "I didn't see the movie yet, and by you saying Who Killed Who, you are saying there's 2 killers." And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." So I'm afraid of backlash is what I'm saying. I don't know. I want to make the video, though, because I think we got it. I think we know who did it. I think it'd be a good video. I think it'd be a fun video to talk about, but I feel like people would get mad. "I'm not buying Amber killing Wes. The fact that a 100-pound girl overpowered Wes, hard to believe." Yeah, that's why I think it's Richie. That's why I think it was Richie. Well, no, that's not. Amber did kill Wes, though. You all can't just say Richie killed anyone when he was in the hospital. That's not true. The last time. So, again, this is why the Wes-Judy thing is the hardest thing to figure out, because the last time you see both Richie and Amber is inside of Mindy and Chad's house. Now, Richie goes outside to Sam leaving. Remember, Sam leaves. She has the Billy vision in her car, and then eventually she stumbles upon Judy and Wes. Now, when she stumbles upon Judy and Wes, she has a phone call, and it's Richie watching, I believe, Stab 8 on the computer, and he says, like, this movie sucks. But he could have still been there and then went, and then the next time you see Richie, he's at the hospital checking on Tara, but guess what? Amber is also at the hospital because she's in the Ghostface mask. So both of them, no matter where they were previously, they both made it to the hospital before anybody else. So that still makes it equally as likely that they were both part of the Judy West thing. Does that make sense? They easily could have both done it. Also, I guess one could have done both kills. That definitely could. But also, how they both died was different. Judy was stabbed like 5-6 times. Wes was stabbed through the throat. You know what I mean? So that they died differently. They died differently, which I would say indicates 2 killers. Hot take, there was a third killer. Oh, my God. It could. I love those theories, but it's just too much. There was never a hello, Sydney. It's an honor line. Yeah, that was pieced together. Yeah. I knew that, and I expected that, which is fine. He went to the hospital and Sam called him to get... Yes, you guys are calling it out. Amber's death was really darkly comedic. It was. I liked her going back and forth. Switching. I was radicalized, stuff like that. And then she gets mad, and then she goes at, like, I liked it. I wish we got more scenes from the Stab universe. Yeah. Explain the door being opened. If Amber killed Judy, then why was the door open if Richie was going to kill Wes? It still could have been both of them there. Because also, you don't know what their plan is. Are we going to take them out together? Are we going to separate them? Clearly, the idea was to get Judy off balance and surprise her. You know what I mean? I thought Richie was going to be related to Cotton. That would have been cool. Gotta love the magical Ghostface costume that makes 5'3" Amber turn into a 6-foot-tall man. Yeah, I agree. But again, it's not fair unless do you want to also... And that's, again, like the way I say it definitely comes out aggressive. So I'm not saying this aggressively. I truly don't mean this. If you say that, you have to go back to Jill and Charlie, but you also have to go back to Stu and Billy because they admitted, I believe, almost every time Ghostface was chasing in those movies, it was a stunt person. So those sizes were also not to scale. So if you have a problem here, you also should have a problem there. Does that make it comes across aggressive. I'm not trying to say it aggressively, but I don't want to like pick on this movie unfairly if we're not going to hold the other movies to the same standard. You know what I mean? Because if we're going to pick on the other movies, there are issues, with the other movies too. What are your thoughts on there being no chrome face? Well, there was. It was just in the in Stab 8. It was fine. I didn't expect it to be a real. Also, when the leaks going into it was that Ghostface would kill somebody with something other than a knife, unless they were talking about that stab footage with the flamethrower. Wasn't all of them with a knife? I guess Dewey was 2 knives. So is that what was so unique about this movie? Is there were a double knife kill? I don't know. Dewey kind of tossed Amber around. Yeah, he did. He flipped her over. He did a wrestling move. Favorite death in the movie? Dewey. Amber's was pretty cool too, though. Plus, we don't really know Amber's background. She could have trained. I heard her as an individual is strong. Like the girl who plays Amber is like a strong person. In that hospital scene, I was Bill throwing up a Ghostface being as tall as Dewey, but it was supposed to be Amber. Yeah, again, though. I get it. I don't like it either, but I understand it. It would have been worse if it was Tara. Can we agree on that? If it was Tara doing some of these kills, it would have been a little bit worse. The Billy plot was okay. It kind of setting up Sam as a killer. So a video is going to go up literally tomorrow where I talk about that. I fully endorse, let me get it on record. I endorse the idea of Sam being the killer for the next movie. Of Sam like almost going to the dark side and Tara being the... Here's what I've told people. I think for the next movie, you can't just do Scream 2 again. Scream 5 being Scream 1, Scream 6 being Scream 2 is a little lame. Okay? Can we agree on that? So I really think, And if you just make another Scream movie, I don't know how people will react. You know, like, we may be okay with it, but like general audiences, like, will the box office numbers start going down? So basically what I'm saying is, to make the next movie, I really think they need to do something very different, something Scream's never done before, and also something that I think truly would make sense with what they set up here, which is making Sam the killer. Because Sam exhibited some pretty unhinged behavior by stabbing Richie like 15 times at the end, slitting his freaking throat, which is a little extreme, shooting him 3 times without being like directly told to do it, right? So like, she's unhinged. And it's not like she banished Billy from her mind. He's still there. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, oh, you helped me, but I'm moving past this era of my... No, Billy is very much still... She's still a messed up person in her head. You know what I mean? So, would it be perfect to make her the killer? Maybe not. Maybe it would fail. But it's not like something where people say, oh, could Sydney be the killer or Dewey be the killer? Those are stupid theories that in reality could never happen. You know what I mean? Who really would even want Sydney to be Ghostface? Nobody. Do you know what I mean? So you can say that, and it, you know, having Sydney be the killer, of course it would be a curveball that nobody would see coming. But does it make sense? No. Does it push the Scream franchise in a different direction? Yeah, it does. It just wouldn't make any sense and people would be mad. But for Sam, it would be different. It would push the franchise somewhere that it's never, because you have 2 final girls. That doesn't happen. You know what I mean? It's called Final Girl for a reason. There's only 1. So you have 2 of them. You could very easily, with the one that already exhibits serial killer tendencies, and her father is you could just have her go down that route and become evil, basically, and then Tara is the survivor. Also, in real life age, they're 12 years apart. Melissa Barrera is 31. So, you know, do you want Scream to be around for 5 or 6 years? Do you want it to be around for another 10, 15 years? Like, because I think Jenna Ortega would make more sense to be the lead going forward because she's a lot younger. And I like Tara more. I think she's a better character. So that's my very long rant, but I say a lot of that in my video tomorrow. Please watch it. But I truly think it makes sense. It's not as dumb as make Sydney the killer. No, this one actually makes sense. Sam stabbed Richie a bunch, slit his free. Remember, I said it earlier in the live stream when he's like, "What about my ending?" And she says, "Here it comes." And she slits his throat. I was like, "Oh my God, you're like the devil." So, you know, she can be off the hinges. What are your thoughts on how they shot Stu's house? I feel like they used a lot of close-up shots. Yes, Stu's house looked very weird. I know some people had said, like, you can tell that it was not the real house, that it was like a set. You could. I think you really could tell that it was just a recreation. It was still cool. It was definitely cool, but it wasn't the same thing. And I don't know if they were going for that or not, but yeah. That was, I wouldn't say that's a weakness. That's just, you know, they were filming during a certain time, you know, with a certain thing going around the world, right? Maybe they couldn't actually go to that house. Like, I get it. How do you know he wasn't killed by Amber? I told you. Well, people probably have already answered you. Imagine how Tara felt knowing the killer was Amber. Well, we didn't really get that reaction, which again is what happens in a movie. You don't really, you know. Yeah, knife kill is pretty insane. I hope they make Sam the killer in the future and then Tara takes over. Exactly. See, I went on that whole rant and I didn't read that comment, but that's exactly what I said. And how is it possible that Chad is alive after being stabbed 100 times? Well, let's go through it. He was sliced in the leg, stabbed in the shoulder, and then stabbed in the back / like side, like rib cage kind of thing, maybe even like where your kidneys are a little bit. 3 times, so he was stabbed like 5. I thought he was dead. I truly believed he was dead, and then when he was alive, I was like, holy Jesus Christ, he made it. Hopefully he has nerve damage like Dewey has. I don't know. Richie wasn't in the hospital at the time. Yeah. Dewey kind of tossed Amber around after. Yeah. How did Sydney, Gale, and Sam just walk off a wound? Well, they all always walk off wounds. And they weren't that bad. Gale was shot. She's been shot before. And she's fine. Sydney was stabbed. She's been stabbed multiple times before. And she's been fine. And Sam, I don't know what her personal experience is like. Hopefully has never been stabbed before, but, you know. This isn't the first Scream movie where the girlfriend's killer is bigger than the actual killer. Jill was short. Charlie was fairly short. Yep. Like they got stabbed or shot, and 2 minutes later, they're all of a sudden they can kill the killer. Well, what I will say is, like your what's the word? Adrenaline. I mean, adrenaline is real. You know what I mean? And it can only keep you going for so long, but I mean, it is very real. So I do think it's possible that they could have not walked it off, but had enough in them to. And if you think about it, Sam definitely did the most after being stabbed. Like Gail and Sydney were both definitely weaker, and they both had to kind of work together to kill Amber. So I would buy that. And then Sam maybe was just really pumped up, on energy. I don't know. Amber's death was darkly comedic. I liked it. What did you think? Yeah, I liked it. I liked her going back and forth between nuts and not nuts. And the as soon as the hand sanitizer went on her face, I was like, here we go. We know where this is going with the trailer. Thanks a lot, movie. And I made that joke several times that, oh, thanks because of the trailer. I know what's going to happen now. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. 3 shots or 2 shots, right? And then she spins around and lights herself on fire. I'd believe that. Richie didn't kill Dewey because he was in the elevator. Well, obviously. It's always the boyfriend or girlfriend. Only Scream 2 has an innocent boyfriend. 3 did, too, with Kincaid. Now, it wasn't a boyfriend, but it was it eventually became her husband, right? So, Dewey told her not today. Yeah. Oh, so she says yes today because he says not today. Ooh, that actually, I'm not shivering. I don't have the goosebumps or whatever it's called. Okay, that makes sense then. I like that. Not today, yes today, it's an honor. Sweet. I love that. I'm sorry. Is that too nerdy? Am I geeking out too much? I like that. Well, I like the idea of there being a third killer, but again, kind of in my way, just make Sam the killer. So there was a killer in her. You know what I mean? Kind of a best of both worlds thing. Amber's actress died exactly the same way in her last movie, so originality and range there. Yeah, I had seen that. I never watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I had heard people saying that. Now I can't. Well, can I watch it now? Because now I know how her character dies. Richie was watching Stab when Sam called him to... Oh, okay. You guys are just going back and forth. Ghostface says yes today because Dewey says not today before shooting Amber. Oh, my God. It would be cool if Sam is the opening kill and the next one have Tara be the lead. That also would work if you wanted to do kind of a Scream 4 original idea where Sydney was attacked but not killed and just do that but have Sam die. That could be something. Now, let me say this, though. Do you know how hard that would be to hide? That'd be so, especially with trailers nowadays. I think we'd be able to figure it out immediately. I mean, we all figured out Tara. You know what I mean? I don't know how easy we were supposed to figure out the Tara stuff, but we figured it out very easily. So I don't know with if they did do that with Sam, I think that'd be bold. I'd be all in. I'd support the idea. I'd respect the idea. But I think in the trailer, we'd immediately know that happened. So that'd be a tough one to pull off. I like the death scene of Amber in both, or the actress. I wish we had more callbacks to Scream 4 characters. 10 years isn't that long. Yeah, I would have liked some sort of name drop of somebody. You know, I wish Liv didn't die. Me too. I liked Liv. Tara is the better final girl. I agree. It would make more sense for Richie to kill Judy and West time-wise. Okay, we're still going. Kind of gave off a seriously deranged vibe. Yeah. All right, well, I guess to end, remember, so, oh, God. Richie and Amber were both at Mindy and Chad's house. Sam leaves. Okay? She gets the hallucination with Billy. She finds Judy and Wes dead. Okay? She calls Richie. He's watching stab. But there's a lot of in-between time where Richie and Amber, at the very least, had to have left Mindy and Chad's house, done something, and then went to the hospital. Okay? That had to have happened. Richie could have killed Wes, then was eating pizza and watching stab, and then went to the hospital. Amber could have left Minnie and Chad's house, killed Judy, went to the hospital as Ghostface. And no matter what, whoever killed Judy and Wes, they both had to leave the house and eventually get to the hospital, no matter what. And I would say by that logic, they both are equal suspects to killing those two. You can't give one a better alibi than the other because there is none. And Judy and Wes were both killed differently. If it was Amber, Wes would have been stabbed a lot, and he wasn't. It was one hit. And the only other time that one hit happened is with Vince. All right, I'm gonna go for another 5-10 minutes, and then I'm gonna hop off. We may do this again, maybe on Monday or Tuesday. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'd love to do this again, so maybe we can hop on again in a few days and talk again. I can do it as many times as you guys want. All right, so I'm gonna kind of rifle through these. Disabled, not crippled. Yeah, he was disabled. I love Gail and Sydney's fight with Amber. Agreed. Yeah, Dewey died like a P word. Yeah, that was harsh. That hurt me to my core. I thought Tara surviving opening kill, hard to believe too. That was semi-off-putting. I believe it. I almost believe it in the sense that maybe they weren't trying to kill her. They were just trying to get Sam back first. Then they would kill her. Maybe something like that. So I could buy it if that was the line of thought. She did also fight back. She was, she she blocked with the hand. I mean, that stab that went through her hand probably would have hit her heart. So, I mean, she did stop the kill. You know what I mean? Yeah. I agree. The only thing that makes me a little question Richie killing Wes is that he did use both hands like Amber did, but he stabbed him in the throat. What do you think about there being no... we already went through that. They used Stu's house and I feel like they should have filmed it a little bit more. Agreed. Tara surviving the opening scene was probably intentional Amber's part. Yeah, that's what I said. At the time when... Oh, okay, we're still going to do it. Richie and Wes's death were the most brutal. Yeah, Wes was kind of dark. Richie's was freaking insane. And then 6, yeah. Well, like I said, I think 6 for me. Well, tomorrow I have a video talking all about it. So that's a short answer. I'd go through a bunch of different things, but I think easy one would have to be make Sam the killer. Or you could do something with the dad that left them. Tara's real dad. Sam's adopted dad, basically. You could do something with him. I think that makes sense. Or if you were really going to copy 2, you could have it be a relative of Richie or Amber that comes after them. Could do that. Stu is barely mentioned. Do you think it was for any reason in particular? He was mentioned a little. He was mentioned in the beginning. But it could have been on purpose. Honestly, there's not much to complain about this film. It was better than Scream 4, and I really enjoyed 4. I actually think 4 is better, but I like 4 more than most people. What's your favorite Scream sequel? 4. Just because of Liv and Judy, I think it's safe. I don't know if Amber kills fast, though. I don't really think there's any evidence to show Amber is a fast killer. The only reason you would say she's a fast killer is Vince, but I really don't think she killed Vince. The end was a bit rushed. I hope there will be a Scream 6. Agreed. It was rushed, the ending. The whole movie, I think, was rushed, actually, and I do hope there's a 6. Amber says yes today 100% as I watched it in English with French subtitles, and French translation was yes today. Sweet. Oh, God. Thank you for the donation, by the way. AMBW channel. There's so many comments that I can't do it. My ranking is Scream 1, 4, 2, and 5 are tied. 3. It's Ghostface. Was very convincing. Yeah, I remember that. I don't rate movies. I don't rate anything based off numbers. I don't give games or movies numbers. Sorry, my screen didn't like show me. I did see the Batgirl suit that dropped yesterday. But yeah, that was my ranking, and I'm not going to give it a score because I just don't do that. 4 was way better than this. The third act was a mess. I do think 4 was better, but you know, Amber was better than Jill. Agree or disagree? Oh God, no, I don't. I think as a psychopath, Jill was better, in my opinion. Yeah. Nice epic. Do you think there'll be a Scream 6? I do. Do you like that they brought back the music? I do. I like the kind of new things, but also kind of leaning into the original. Yeah. This is very enjoyable. Thank you for doing this. Well, thank you for being here. Nice channel. Appreciate the work and dedication to Scream. Do you think we'll see survivors Chad, Mindy, Kirby, and the Carpenters all return? I'd love to see if Kirby came back, that'd be freaking sweet. So, yes, I would hope so. I think they'll all definitely return, though. I don't think Chad makes it long, and I do think it's possible Sam is taken out, too. But I do think they'll all return for sure. Mindy is the new Randy. Tara should probably be the new final girl. Thanks to YouTube, we know that Kirby's alive with her Survivor interview thumbnail option. Yeah. I'm going to make a video on that soon. Do you think they'd be able to pull off another Scream without Dewey? I do. I think so. I think you can. I don't know for sure if you didn't have Sydney or Gail, how it would feel. I think they will come back for 6, honestly. But, yeah. I think they can survive without Dewey. I do. And I think they did as good as they could. And, yeah, Sydney's married to Kincaid, which is freaking sweet. Richie did play. Jack Quaid was really good, both as a, innocent person and not as an innocent person. Your mom's the town drunk was kind of lame, as how Sam's secret was known. Yeah, I mean, I get it, I guess. Alex, are you getting tired of them having young kids be the killers? I miss the old type kids from. Well, they're all supposed to be young, is the thing though. Like Stu and Billy are supposed to be 17, 18. You know what I mean? And they were really 23, 24. So, this was actually more. Amber was 21 in real life, and Jack Quaid was 28. So, are you sad Wes died? A little bit. Gunshot wounds are always not portrayed right in movies. Yeah, I get it. Jill was definitely more better and the more psychotic killer. She killed her own mother, yes. Would it be another 10 years for another Scream? Hopefully it's only 2 or 3. Yeah. Were the only kills I wasn't... Yeah. Yeah, I think some kills definitely got me, and, I'm sad that they killed them so fast. All right, guys. Well, I got to get going, but I greatly appreciate you all being here. It means a lot. I think we had a lot of fun, and... yeah, I can definitely do this again. Maybe we can do this on Monday or Tuesday or something a little later in the day. So there should be a notification that goes up for that. There was no notification for this. So I want to thank you all for being here. And there's videos every day. There'll be a new Scream video literally every day for a while, for another two or so weeks probably. But I'll do another live stream on Monday or Tuesday, okay? So we'll try and shoot for that and go from there, all right? And we'll just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So thank you for watching. Just seeing if there's any very important comments. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you all on the next video and or live stream.